Hello everyone, welcome to Amor de Perros. A few weeks ago, we talked about the types of training that we have to take into account for those of us who have a puppy, as is the case here with Kylie, who is joining us today on the show. But today, I want to talk with our specialist in the subject, who is Dennis Urrutia, about the different types of training that we can also have for a higher level of our dogs, because I understand that there are service dogs, obedience dogs, dogs for special conditions. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the different options or the different types of training that we can have with our dogs?
Thank you. Well, look, we have what is protection dogs, okay? There are a lot of people that live on a property that is very large. There are times that certain family members travel a lot and they want a dog to protect their property, okay? So in this case, the dog is trained to have a good obedience, a good control. Control is very important. And after it is trained with a good obedience, we teach something called the protection. So the dog will learn to bark, to growl, to bite. If there is an intruder that comes through the yard, through the front door, if a member of the family attacks you, the dog is trained to protect.
Dennis, we see a lot of little dogs on the street with little jackets that say support dogs, service dogs. What's the difference between the emotional support dog and the service dog?
Well, look, you have the difference. The service dog is the dog that assists a person for a fairly strong condition, okay? So you have people who are at least blind. That's a service dog. You have a person who is disabled and needs the dog to help them grab your keys, open your fridge, bring you pills. That's a dog that's working for you. That's a service dog. There are people who have what is called PTSD, a very strong mental condition. So in that case, you qualify to have a service dog. Now, emotional support is a lower level, okay? It's a lower level. It has certain restrictions. It's not considered, it's considered a service dog, but a semi-service dog. It's a lower level. That's not as strong as the service dog. And you're going to have certain restrictions. It's mostly for an emotional problem that you have, but it's not as strong a condition in that case.
You train obedience dogs, and I think it's something that you are most called and sought after, because who doesn't want to have a dog that is obedient and does what you want and behaves the way it's supposed to behave?
Of course, look, there are several levels we offer in our company. We offer what is a basic level. The dog learns to walk next to you. He does not pull you. He stays next to you, shoulder to leg. He learns to walk, to sit, to stay still, to lie down, to stay still so he can go to his little bed. A basic control inside the house, outside, and working with distractions, with visits. Again, I repeat, it is very important that the owner learns how to work the dog, because if he does not know how to work it, he will not pay attention to it. You have a second level, which is the advanced basic level, which has 5 off-leash commands plus the basic one. And we also offer our clients what is military obedience. I call it military police because it is very advanced. I learned that for many years. I have taught it to my trainers. The dog learns to walk off-leash, to come to you off-leash, to do all the commands off-leash in case of a situation where the dog does not have the leash on. He ran away, that you have good control over the dog. In other words, we have approximately 4 levels of obedience.
They say there are some potentially dangerous breeds, such as the Pit Bull, the Rottweiler, all these breeds. I have always thought that they are breeds that simply require a little more education than a breed like the Labrador or the Golden. Is that so? Is it really a matter of the master investing more time and more dedication in training? Or is it more of a myth about these breeds?
Look, for me it is a myth, actually. I am going to be very honest. For me it is a myth. There are many good dogs. There are dogs that have problems, just like people. There are people that have problems. There are people that don't have problems. There are good people. There are people that have their details. Look, there are dogs that have a strong character, that are made to do protection and example, then they develop that aggression naturally. So, of course, if you have a dog with a strong character, it is good to educate it. You know what I mean? Like if you have a misbehaved child who is starting to disrespect his parents, you want to put him in his place and keep him under control. Because if not, who can put up with him later on? Oh, so in this case, you have breeds. I have seen many pit bull breeds that are very good with the owners, with the babies and everything. Let's remember that it's an animal. All the breeds are animals and you have to keep an eye on them. But there are certain breeds that if you do not socialize them with other dogs, like the Pit Bull, the Stanford Shadow Terrier, there are certain breeds that if you do not socialize them and keep them away from dogs, they can get a little bit aggressive with other animals. That is why socialization is important in all animals, all dogs. It is very important to socialize them, but there are many breeds that are very good, and there are breeds that have problems, you know what I mean? But not because it happened to one, they are all bad. Think well first. When you are going to rescue a pet, if you have the time to dedicate to the pet, it's very important that you are prepared monetarily for the vaccinations, the veterinarian, the training. You are going to see your expenses. It is very important. Think first, can I have a pet? Can I keep it? Can I give it education? Do I have time to take it to the park? Does it do its activities? If you have them, it is important. If you don't have them, they won't give him the attention and they will keep him locked up all day in the house. I recommend that at that moment, it is not the right time for them to look for a pet.
Okay. Well, Dennis, thank you so much for
My
being
pleasure.
here at Amor de Perros. And, you know, there are many ways that you can train your doggies and do whatever you want. But it's all about love. It's all about patience. And most of all, having a professional like Dennis on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You know, this article and many more can be found on our Trendiendo channel. 2 important tasks, you subscribe and share it.